Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am your host, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, the mayor of the Deepstone Crypt and the wielder of Dead Man's Tale, Mr. Josh Finney.
I like that. I like that intro. I feel like I need a cowboy hat in game, though.
I know. Speaking of cowboy hats, did you play Outriders? Huh?
God, dude, Outriders is... apologies to anybody who's actually enjoying Outriders, but that game sucks balls. It's bad. It's real bad.
So, I know this is a Destiny show, and I know that but this game is kind of relevant to the audience a little bit because a lot
I was excited for this.
Yeah, I was like...
I had talked myself into it, seeing all the stuff from People Can Fly over the last couple of months. I was like, damn, this is going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to like that game so much. I
tried really hard.
I played like 3.5 hours of it.
Yeah. My first indication that this game was going to be really bad, though, was in the prologue. And, you're running along and you get to a ledge. And when you go to climb the ledge, it's a cutscene.
Oh my gosh, dude. So many unnecessary cutscenes.
I shit you not. You take about another 10 steps, and then you have another cutscene. Mm-hmm. And I said out loud, oh no.
Yeah, every single, all the
every door, every
NPCs,
ledge, every jump.
Yeah,
it was a fucking cutscene.
And besides all the cutscene stuff, it just felt really off. The movement felt kind of off. The only thing that actually felt good was the shooting.
The gunplay feels really good.
And I know it's because they kind of basically lifted it out of Gears of War, right? Because they did Gears Judgment.
Yeah.
It felt kind of like that, but man, the movement, it felt like somebody who designed the movement never played Gears of War. And their only reference of third-person shooters was Crackdown and Lost Planet.
The running feels like you're in Crackdown.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind the movement too much. I'm going to preface this with, the movement is fine. The cover system, however, is the cover system truly feels like it's designed by somebody who has never played Gears or even The Division. Because it's really bad. I don't have a problem with cover falling apart. I have a problem with me being behind cover and still getting hit. Mm-hmm. Or the cover just not registering at the same time. Mm-hmm. It was really that was really frustrating. The actual running and stuff feels like a much smoother Gears of War in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think that the 4K 60 is helping with that. But holy hell. I described it to Nerd Generalist this way, because he asked me, he's like, dude, have you played this yet? And I was like, no, I haven't jumped in yet. I got in maybe a couple hours after that. And I says, it feels like Gears of War without a soul. Mm-hmm. I don't care about a single character at all.
Yeah.
At all. There is nobody likable in this game. The main character actually made me thankful for the first time in years that the Guardian does not talk at all.
I know, dude. The voice acting is terrible in this
dude,
game.
It's so bad. I still can't tell you what the fuck is going on in that game story wise.
I do. There's a lot of ass. People say ass a lot.
There's a lot. So, and here's the thing: the lore reading that I did in game is actually really fascinating. Mm-hmm. But the actual story is so incoherent, at least in this early part, that I don't know what's going on. And I saw a lot of people going oh my god, it's open world, it's going to be so cool. That is the most linear ass open world game I've ever played in my entire life. Mm-hmm. It's so rough. Yeah. I don't know. It's the environments are boring. They don't look good. Mm-hmm. The backgrounds are very pixelated at points.
Yeah, it feels unfinished. And this game's supposed
does.
To I understand. Oh, I was just gonna say I understand that this is a demo, that the build is probably at least 3, 4, maybe 5 months old just to get it ready for. And I know they're releasing a patch this weekend or something, right? They're patching.
You have to patch a demo. That's a bad sign.
Yeah. I hope they delay this game into the summer, because this is not, if this is what you're going to put out in less than 30 days, it's oh boy,
it's bad.
It's bad.
It's real bad, and it's frustrating. Like the people that I've mainly seen that are enjoying it are the people like who understandably don't play or don't enjoy Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the things when I was talking to our friend Ray, one of the things I was really excited about with this is a game that has a definitive endpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited for that, as opposed to Avengers or Destiny.
Yeah, in the vein of like a Borderlands. It's in the vein of a Borderlands.
But it's like, holy shit, this is just not good.
Yeah.
Even the people that I've heard say that they enjoy it aren't like, oh my god, this is going to be an amazing game. They're just like, this is probably gonna be something fun that I'll get my enjoyment out of.
Mm-hmm.
Both Nerd Generalists and I did agree, though, we're gonna wait and see the reviews. And when this game goes down, inevitably like $25-$30 partway through the year, we'll probably pick it up for a Destiny slump.
Partway, it'll probably be like June or July.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm thinking too. Like, this is something I plan on playing probably around the time of Festival of the Lost, if I haven't gotten it to it by that point, because I got to space out my Destinying now, knowing that the Witch Queen is delayed.
I know. Yeah, this is also, I didn't know a character creator could make Destinies look good.
Like, I don't hate the character creator in that game. One of the things I really like about it is you can change your appearance at any time.
Oh, you can?
Which is something that I think Destiny is sorely lacking.
Yeah.
But man, there's not that many choices, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's kind of like the most creative thing I think you can do is like, where do you want your piercing at?
Yeah. You mean your little triangle clips above your eyebrow?
Yeah, do you want an eyebrow piercing, or do you want like 5 earrings on your ear? Those are like your two choices. I don't know. It is one of those, like, I'm gonna watch the reviews very carefully, because even like the people who are writing about it and reviewing it, most of them that are doing it are ones that do not play games as a service, and I think that's why I'm so curious to see their reactions, because they're like, hey, this isn't that bad. But other people who like play a lot of Destiny, or who have been involved in Destiny, Division, even things like Genshin Impact, like are like, might want to be a little bit cautious about that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Destiny isn't by any means perfect. It definitely wasn't at launch, but I would have hoped that games coming out would have learned from the state that vanilla Destiny 1, Destiny 2, Anthem, Avengers, etc. all launched. Especially Avengers. It's coming from fucking Square.
Yeah. Man, like, talk about another game that's like dying on the vine. That's another
one. When they came out, it was today or yesterday, and they announced that, I guess it was today, that XP is going to be much harder to get after level 25. And it's like, dude, I was willing to come back and give it another shot when the next gen patch hit. No, I'm good. I'm done. Yeah. You won't even give us a content roadmap.
Why would you make the game like
by like 5 months?
Why would you?
I'm good with never touching that game again.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'll play it when the Series X version comes out, and I'll play through the story, and I'll be like, man, this is I maybe they fixed it by then, and I'm like, no, I'm all right. I wanted to like it, so man, all these games that aren't Destiny are just like flailing on the vine here. Anthem's gone.
But I mean, like you said, like, this is a Destiny podcast, but it's important to talk about other games in this sphere, I think, to a degree, because just because these games may be like kind of a train wreck, it doesn't mean there's not things that we can't take from there.
Right.
Like, I really like the amount of cosmetics that are in Avengers. I just hate how you earn them. Mm-hmm. I love being able to get the iconic comic suits. I know we can't do that in Destiny, but we are getting a sneak peek at some stuff coming up, though, which Bungie is furthering the whole thing that we've been saying for a long time. We need to have transparency. We want to see things in the future. Last week at the end of the State of the Game, we got a tease of one of the sets from Witch Queen.
Yeah.
One of the wild sets, as they call it, which I imagine we're going to have a few world armor sets, and that's one of them. Mm-hmm. The one that we got teased this week, though, in the TWAB, it's one of the only notable things in the TWAB. I love it.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit I've been saying for years. I want to see wacky stuff for the holiday events.
Mm-hmm. By the way.
Go ahead.
By the way, whoever doesn't vote for the set that we've agreed on, it should just not play Destiny.
It was trending number 4 worldwide like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's how big it is. But like I guess let's just go ahead and get into the TWAB. Should we, Corey? It's a short one this week.
Yep, let's get into it. Let's get into that TWAB.
We're gonna jump around in the TWAB a little bit because we're already talking about a new armor set. There's not a whole lot to cover this week. We got a huge state of the game last week. I really don't expect us to get too much over the next few weeks until we get the Proving Ground strike on the 23rd. But one of the things that they talk about down here is Festival of the Lost. And, Corey and I have been really clear about this. Our guests have been clear about this, that we want this event overhauled big time. We're tired of doing the Haunted Forest. We've done it for like 3 or 4 years now. Give us something new. Mercury is
Spooky
Sunset.
Grandma can only bake so many cookies, guys.
Dude, that's fucking Christmas. I mean, don't even get me started on that. I love the little oven mechanic. But Festival of the Lost, dude, I'm tired of that. It's dark as hell in there. It's hard to see. I don't like it. Oh. I'm tired of it. It's simply not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And here, they're letting us pick the armor set that will be featured this year. So either movie monsters or dinosaurs. The movie monsters one. The hunter, it looks like a dragon of sorts. They all kind of look like dragons, honestly.
Yeah.
Until you get to the Titan. The Titan looks more like...
He's like a Cyclops type
He's
guy.
like a Cyclops werewolf hybrid.
Yeah.
We got monster sets this year, in a way, because the Warlocks got the... they got the, vampire-looking suit.
Yeah.
The Hunters got a werewolf set, because I did buy that armor, and I really like it. And then the Titans got the chain breakers, like the berserkers or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't on the surface I don't hate this armor. It kind of looks like the hunter has a tail, but I kind of really like that because it reminds me of my D&D character. But then you look at what it's up against. Ladies and gentlemen, the dinosaur armor is the greatest goddamn thing they've ever shown for money in this game.
It's so
Team
cool.
Dino is blowing away the competition right now.
Yeah. Okay, so the Titan is a T-Rex. The Warlock is like a skeleton of a Triceratops, it looks like. Mm-hmm. And the Hunters are a Velociraptor.
So I've seen a lot of people go like, oh, well, the Warlocks have the most boring one, but we'll do it. Dude, I'm like, okay, so that kind of looks like a Triceratops, but I approach it a different way. Dude, that looks like you're wearing fucking fallen bones on you.
Yeah,
that looks like cool. You took the corpse of a captain and put it on you. That looks so cool.
It does look cool.
The Hunter, though, let me tell you something. I can't tell if that is the cloak or the helmet that the head is on, but I love it. Regardless of where it is, I'm wearing this so much.
Yeah, it looks so cool. The dinosaur suits ridiculous.
Are cool. I love the Titan legs. Remind me of the shadow pants from the Crown of Sorrow raid for the Hunters, the claw boots.
Mm-hmm.
That I ran that raid way too many times to get. I love the helmet. Like, I genuinely like all three of these so much that I would be prepared to drop like $40 to get all of these.
Yeah, these are cool.
This is really cool, and I like that they're letting us decide it also.
Mm-hmm.
Their exact phrasing up here. We're rapidly approaching spring, but we're already planning for Festival of the Lost, and we want to share a preview of 2 concepts we have for Eververse that can be purchased via Silver or Bright Dust. And man, this is awesome. I think both sets are really cool, but one is definitely cooler than the other.
Yeah.
If I may offer a solution, Bungie,
I mean,
I would put whatever one wins in the game as an earnable set, and the other one as a buyable set.
Yeah. I bet they'll both be available at some point, though, right?
Because I would absolutely buy the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would spend actual money on the movie monster set, but I would 100% drop real world cash on the Dino set.
Yeah.
That is the perfect even like I'm pretty much paying $15 for a helmet at this point.
Yeah.
and I'm okay with it because I'm actually not the biggest fan of the rest of it. I just want a dino head on my face.
You don't like the little boots with the
I don't mind them. If I was gonna do this, I would probably slap on my shadow boots and just put the same color shader on them. Oh, this is really cool. Like, if we hadn't had something similar to this already, I'd probably be a little bit more jazzed for the hunters. But holy shit, dude, I want a dinosaur on my head.
I know, this is cool.
Dinos all in the tower. This is great, and they've set a pretty quick deadline too. You only have 4 days to vote on this.
Yeah. Everybody, you better vote for the dinosaurs. Vote.
Right? You definitely better do this.
Tower Casuals, Team Dino.
Team Dino. Hashtag Team Dino. That's the name of the episode.
Team Dino. That is a good title. That is a good title. I like
this, though. I want them to do this in the future.
Yeah.
Not for all of the armors, but like maybe for the holiday events. Like, let us pick between one of a couple of different options or something.
Yeah, like let us vote for Christmas, for the dawning. Give us like a Santa suit that we can vote on, or like a.
Dude, if the hunters get an elf set, I like a Buddy the Elf looking set, I would buy that.
Yeah, also. you know though, like, okay, the hunters would get like some kind of cool fat Santa outfit. The hunters would get an elf set. The Titans would get stuck with a fucking reindeer helmet.
Okay, that actually could be really cool if you think about it.
No, it's not cool.
The stag helmet is awesome for the warlocks. If you did something like that for Titans, that would be awesome. No, they'll make you all a big snowman. Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, yeah, a snowman set. That'd be awesome.
If you're a big fat snowman, that would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, you have to give us Santa, though, so we can have Santa's bag of toys on our back.
Yeah.
Look, what if we're running around and, like, glimmer cubes are popping out?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Okay, now I need this. Now Bungie, call us. We have ideas. Speaking of gifts, though, Corey, we have had a bit of a glitch this week.
Yeah, we did.
There are 12-man raids currently happening.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of crazy. It's almost a throwaway section in here. But this came to the attention of people last weekend. We tried setting up a 12-man raid, did not work. We're definitely going to try again this weekend because what is happening is 2 full teams of 6 players are trying to join each other at the same time. When you hit 2 on the countdown clock, the party leaders just start mashing A to join one another. And what it is, it's taking people like 10-15 minutes to get to work. But then once you're able to do it, you are able to load into activities with 12 people. We have seen 12-man nightfalls. We have seen 12-man raids.
It's they're getting like 4 full fire teams into stuff. Like I've been 4 as in like 3 people each, but like the 12 people events is like really cool. And this is like, I feel like this is something that Destiny fans have been clamoring for a long time. Is like
it is. I mean, we've even raised the idea of what if we had a larger raid than just 6 people. I joked that if we were able to get this to work, the one to do it on is Garden of Salvation. Because that raid is just such a gigantic pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But hey, everyone come in and do it with like multiple characters. If we can run it like that, that'll make especially the final boss just so easy.
Yeah.
I was seeing clips of people on on the giant harpy boss in the third encounter, second or third encounter is when you fight it. Third encounter, I guess, is when you finally kill the giant harpy. And everybody was just like, there were Celestial Nighthawks, there were thunder crashes going off. Like, the frame rate was dropping so bad. That's hilarious to me. Like, it clearly is not meant to be able to take it.
Oh, no.
But
still awesome, though.
It's awesome. I really, really, really want to do this. But Bungie says the big buzz around the community this week has been players finding out a way to cram 4 fire teams and activities meant for 1. We've been watching the 12-player raid hype and are glad you're enjoying yourselves. We're not rushing out a fix for this, and it's totally fine if you want to try it out and have some fun. Keep in mind, we didn't create these activities expecting a clown car of guardians to roll up, so you'll experience some weirdness. We are planning on fixing this before Grandmaster Nightfalls begin on March 16th, but you're free to party up until the fix goes live. The fact that they're not rushing to fix this, which we all, I think, expected to happen right away, this is another example of, I think, like, they're seeing what the community wants. And in fact, Cosmo mentions as much on...
Hey Josh, just this is I warned you, just rant. Just go. I gotta take care of something real quick. Sorry.
Cosmo mentions this on the TWAB post over on Reddit, and the comment that he replies, he says, 12-man being fixed is fine. Of course it is. It's an unintentional bug, but Bungie, I beg you, please at least say we are aware you enjoy this and your feedback has been passed on. Anything to show you know it's what we want. And then Cosmo, one of the community managers, comes in and says, 100% aware more players and activities is wildly popular and something the community wants to see more of. We're not promising anything, but definitely passing the feedback along. The comment under that, though, is what I really, really, really want to drive home. And it says it just really drives home the MMO feeling that Destiny needs in order to be a true MMO. Really hope you're thinking of ways to capitalize on this for future content. And that's something that I really think is important. You have to have that epic feeling, right? Like, it's not always fun feeling like, oh my God, we're up against the odds. Like, if you were ever to do a 12-man raid in Destiny, it would have made sense, I think, with Oryx, just knowing what a big danger he was, or with Riven. Riven's another one. Savathun is the one that makes sense, though. Like, there's a lot of comments, that we've seen over the last week, couple of days, where people have been going, "Oh my God, like, what if we got a 12-man raid for Savathun?" And I want to caution anybody against that way of thinking. If they do a 12-man activity, I don't think it'll be in the way you expect it, because it's going to have to be something that's not like super mechanics heavy. Because trying to get 12 people into a voice chat or communicating is rough. It's bad enough with 6 people trying to do raids, and like, it's gonna have to be match made. Like, it would have to absolutely be match made. You could party up 12 people, but it's not going to be one of those things where, oh, you must seek out 12 people. Like, LFG would never recover. I am curious to see if they'll do like maybe a special raid week in the future and go, okay, for 2 weeks, we're going to open the gates and we're going to change matchmaking on raids and dungeons and let you come in with a 12-man fire team. Like, I saw people getting 12 people into Persage, for example. I would love to see a modifier that, like, just literally call it like Oops All Champions or something, and like, when you dump 12 people in, every single enemy is up 1 tier. So all red bars are automatically orange. All oranges are yellows. All yellows are like actual health bar enemies. Those are things I would love to see. Like, just dump a buttload of champions in or something. Like, I don't know. If you're going to have 12 people in it, at least make it like somewhat of a challenge, right?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds interesting. I mean, I think the more people you add, the harder it should get, right? If you're trying to do this, right? I think it should be like almost like when they added Mayhem to Crucible, right? Like, it's kind of that idea, just like this dumb fun thing, but the more people you add, the harder it gets.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of saying. Like, I would hope that they would make it an event or something, like maybe in the summer, or like in the slow weeks or months leading into a new expansion. Like, be like, hey, we're gonna go back to doing what we did with Season of the Raid last year, and we're gonna modify the raids for a couple weeks. We're gonna let 12 people be in the raids. And as an extension, we're gonna turn on matchmaking. That is gonna cause so much pandemonium. And I don't think you even need to jack up the enemy difficulties at that point, because the puzzles are like, they're difficult enough. Like, getting 6 people that actually can do the puzzles in some of these raids is going to be the funny part.
Yeah.
But I think it would get a lot of people out of their shell. It would get people some raid completions, get you some raid loot. And I'm not saying like, oh, let's go hand out completions, but I think it would encourage people to want to do it more. We saw a huge influx of raiders on day one of Deepstone Crypt because of the emphasis on raiding over the summer with the sunsetting raids.
Yeah.
I want to see something like that again. I know there's only 3 in the game right now. There'll be 4 by this summer with Vault of Glass. There's some really fun things you could do here. Like, that's the whole reason we never got the Revelry back, was because they gave us like they jacked up our supers by like 300%, and people were one-shotting Riven with Blade Barrage.
Right. Like,
I want to see some wacky stuff like that again. Like, give me a 6-man dungeon next time around. You know, in the fall, give me a 6-man dungeon. A lot of people, like I was saying, Corey, are proposing that, oh, what if we do a 12-man Savathun raid? You know, she's the biggest threat that the Guardians have ever faced, like even more so than Oryx. It would make sense. And like, just the logistics, though, like if you do that, you can't make it puzzle heavy. You would have to enable matchmaking, because the idea of trying to wrangle 12 people up is just not feasible.
Yeah.
And it would create an absolute shit show on LFGs.
Yeah.
But just like, give me something like that. Like, now they're figuring out how to get more and more enemies into encounters. Like, I don't know, give me like a final stand in a raid or something where like us and I don't know, like there's like, it's still the six man fire team, but like other Guardians, like their ghosts or something, like their fighting styles are like next to us or something, like data's pulled from the Bungie servers. I don't know, like past incarnations of our own characters. Like, just come up with some weird wacky explanation, and like there's like ghosts of them like materializing, fighting alongside us. Like, give us a final stand where all we have is swords, just fighting like an entire room of Thrall.
Oh god, please no.
Just do it Helm's Deep style. Just like how, like, you do something like that, like how cool would that be? Like, I don't know, like, just kind of spitball in there. But I think a 12-man activity at this point, if you're Bungie and you're not going, okay, we need to figure out how to get a 12-man activity into the Witch Queen, then you're not paying attention close enough. It's far enough out that you can still do it.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if, like, maybe not the whole raid of the Witch Queen raid, but, like, there's, like, an instance where you meet up with another fire team and you fight through, like,
the entrance to the raid. Yeah. That's probably the easiest place to do it, right? Because, like, remember when we used to do Vault of Glass on Venus and people driving by could go interact with the fire teams opening up the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I used to love going and hanging out in that area, just driving by on my Sparrow and being like, oh, I'm going to take a break from this mission I'm doing, and I'm going to run up and I'm going to help them open up the gates.
Yeah. Like, what I was thinking, honestly, like, what I was thinking, like, if it takes place on the Dreadnought, right? Like, you could go, like, land on the beacon and you could see another fire team spawning in, and you just, like, mow down a ton of hive.
12 Guardians just storm the beachhead.
Yeah.
Saving Private Destiny.
Yeah, and as you enter the door to the raid, right? Like, you know, like the door opens or whatever on the beachhead, and like you just instance into the raid with your own fire team.
Darkness zone.
Yeah.
And you see them kind of disappear.
Yeah.
I think that probably is that or like when you get to the boss are probably the two most likely ones.
Mm-hmm. Or like
I could just see it like when you get, or like when the final stand is triggered or something, like other Guardians are spawning in, like, I don't know.
Or even like if there's like a bridge to the boss, like it could be like in one of the like hub, like one of the main areas where you know, where you instance into an area, and there's just like even other Guardians that aren't attempting the raid to get into, you know.
Oh my god, that would be so cool. There's so many ideas you can do here for a 12-man activity. But we're gonna dive back into this in a few weeks. Nerd Generalist and I have a topic we're gonna bring to the table. Designing our own raid.
I only have 2 shows left. Before,
he's gonna be flying with me as co-host for a little bit.
Yeah. So new light coming into the world, Josh.
The newest of lights.
Yeah.
But Corey, we're gonna move along. There's a couple other little things to hit on in this TWAB. Now that we're jumping around. I talk about International Women's Day. Really cool pin and emblem that you can get, much like the Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ ones that they've done in the past. I think those are both really cool. They talk a little bit about, and this is kind of related to the new tech blog that they launched this week, which, great read, by the way. Encourage anybody who's remotely interested in game design to go give that a read. Mm-hmm. I understood about half of it. It's very technical. It's some of the programmers from the game talking about it. Specifically what they addressed in the tech blog for its launch was missing rewards and how that happens. Mm-hmm. And like you see some of the spaghetti code that they've frequently talked about. This little section here, they talk about the teleporting enemies and what's going on with that. It does have to do with Battlegrounds and how Battlegrounds is actually making it a little bit worse. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to reduce the lag of enemies and them teleporting across the map and stuff. Mm-hmm. But that this is something that's going to happen until they can get it to stabilize, because they want more experiences like Battlegrounds going forward.
Yeah, I like the Battlegrounds a lot. It's a lot better than the Wrathborn hunts. Like I like the Battlegrounds way more.
This is the exact opposite of the Wrathborn hunts. I actually want to play these. Mm-hmm. I actually have a really good time. I mean, they're strike length almost.
Yeah.
But there's so many enemies in them, and they're an absolute blast to do. Mm-hmm. If you guys missed the deep dive on the Deepstone Crypt raid, they did a raid along with the design team this week. That's a good watch. I watched a little bit of when they were doing the Atrax encounter.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy watching them for dungeons and for raids. I need to go back and watch the whole thing. But that's about it. Their new Twitch Prime bundle, the projection that you get in that is actually exclusive. It's a Season of the Chosen one. And then that emote, the 6-shooter emote, has been in the game since Season 1, and I have never gotten it until this week.
Mm-hmm. What's
got it.
The Sparrow looks like Ray's ship from Force Awakens.
It does. That's an older Sparrow too. That's from like Season 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
It's real old. Looking to see if there's anything else. Trials is disabled this weekend because of the hilarious convoluted cheating system that was uncovered.
These are the win trading.
Yeah, they had people load in 2 people with the Hawkeye emblem, and if you found 2 other people with it, then you like roll. And it worked a lot better on PC, obviously, because you could just like stream it. But rolling a die, and then whoever lost would jump off repeatedly to give the other team a free pass, and it's just like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like a more evolved system of what we talked about with Nerd Generalists last week, where people were just jumping off. It
absolutely is. It's a joke.
And like, I really want that Trials armor, but I just like, it's just never gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen.
It's frustrating that we're in week 4. We've had 2 weeks where it was up for a little bit last weekend before getting disabled. I also think that part of it is because of you're able to have multiple people join. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's working in PvP or not. I assume it's not because of just how much chance is involved. Mm-hmm. But you can't rule out that, like, on PC maybe that's working. It's just that adds to an already frustrated player base, I think. Mm-hmm. So kind of curious to see what they do with that going forward, because, I mean, now this is 2 weeks where we've missed out on rewards from this season. But even for 3 wins, like, they're not really giving out the armor or anything. Mm-hmm. Or even the weapons. Like, Messenger is still the only new weapon that has been accessible to us. Yeah. They've done the shotgun, they've done Astral Horizon, they've done Tomorrow's Answer, the rocket launcher. But those are both from last year, just with new perk pools. And now with things not sunsetting, hey, that's amazing. Like, my Messenger is going to continue to be useful for years to come. Mm-hmm.
Until they,
actually get it out of the vault. You know what? When they nerf it, I'm ready for it to go. I like not Falling Guillotine. What's it called? Gnawing Hunger is still a better choice, anyways. Overall, but Messenger is not Messenger. Summoner, pretty good choice.
Yeah.
Looking to see if there's anything else we need to talk about.
I mean,
I don't think so. There's not a whole lot this week.
It's just it's. I mean, it's fine. We've gotten deep into TWABs the last few.
Yeah, it's actually
months.
been kind of refreshing to have it be a down week for a TWAB. Where it was not a down week, though, was the actual story for the game.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I haven't had a chance to play this week because I've been started a new work schedule this week. And, dude, I got to tell you, man, getting up at 5 a.m. every day now just is not fun.
It's not great.
It's not fun. So I'm going to play it this weekend, but I'm interested to hear what this story stuff is because I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, so every week there's been a weekly quest since the start of season of The Chosen, and it's been the Challenger Proving or whatever it's called quest line. Mm-hmm. And it involves us hunting down Keitel's lieutenants. And we basically figure out at this point there's 7 of these quests to do. Mm-hmm. We did the 4th one this week. Mm-hmm. And the previous 3 included had us going to new battlegrounds each time. And kind of like, we're fracturing her forces. There's a quest that are given to you in the Helm at the beginning of the week by Osiris and by Saladin. Mm-hmm. Well, this week Crow is involved, and Crow has uncovered a plot by Keitel's soldiers against Zavala's life, and it sends you on this quest line that has you go all over to the main planets of the seasonal storyline. So you go to Europa, Nessus, and then you spend some time in the Cosmodrome, but you spend a lot of time in the EDZ, going back to the old Red Legion bases, mm-hmm. and you're picking up items in each one, right, that are expanding upon the ongoing narrative. You pick up something in the final one though, and when they're talking about it, it's a mini version of what Gaul used on the Traveler. Mm. It's meant to take out a ghost.
Ooh.
And you find evidence that they are planning to do this, that the Scions are planning to do this to Zavala's ghost.
That's
terrifying.
That's a big story beat.
That's a very big story beat, and it's very easy to kind of skip through it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the people involved, Crow especially, is very alarmed. Mm-hmm. We've seen a cutscene of him and Zavala for later in the season that has not come to pass yet. It's one of the only things from the season trailer that we have not seen, but it's them with that sword, mm-hmm. Implied to be on Nessus. And I do think that this is probably the end of the 5th or 6th week, most likely, is when we're going to see this cutscene play out. I don't think they'll hold it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
But it's clear that they're getting increasingly desperate, especially the Scions.
Well, Crow hasn't revealed himself yet.
He has not, and that would be the moment, I think, where he reveals himself. Mm-hmm. Because I can't remember if he is unmasked or not in that scene.
He is.
Okay, so yeah, that's got to be like week 6. I think next week he reveals himself to the Zavala. And actually, this isn't going to be our lore corner, but I do want to read this entry from the lore. You get it this week when you finish. And I got to pull it up real fast. It's called Guardian Angels. It's from the book From the Front. Each of these is a different story from characters that are involved in these hunts. The first one it talks about all of Keitel's generals. They each get a couple paragraphs. The second one, I think, is, if I remember correctly, it is Keitel. Talks about like her witnessing the death of Torbodal, the home world of the Cabal. Thanks to Xivu Arath, how she faced down Xivu Arath. Mm-hmm. It's like the only thing that's ever truly terrified her. The third one is about Amanda Holiday. This fourth one concerns Crow and Glint, though. And it's not super long, so we're going to read this because, one, it's hilarious. It canonizes exotic ghost shells, but it offers us an insight into Crow's concern for Zavala, even though he's fairly new to the tower.
Yeah.
So it starts off, since we're undercover, you know what I need? A disguise shell. Something mysterious. Glint hovered eagerly over Crow's shoulder, his shell flaps tilted encouragingly. We should go see Tess. Okay, first off, nobody has ever said, let's go see Tess in the history of Destiny, except for Glint. First of all, Crow muttered, we're not undercover. This mission is reconnaissance, not infiltration. Of course, Glint chirped, but, well, second of all, Crow continued, I'm the one who needs a disguise, not you. Nobody knows who you are. That's not true, Glint protested. I've been around for hundreds of years. I've met everybody. Yeah, as pork bun or whatever it was, Crow gently teased. Nobody in the tower knows you have a new guardian. Glint whirred in a low tone, which Crow had learned to interpret as grumbling. The awoken Lightbearer ignored his ghost's petulance and checked the position of the sun. He moved a few feet further into shadow before refocusing his attention on Zavala. The last thing Crow wanted was for the Titan to spot the binocular's reflection. It had been like this for the past week. During the days, Crow would cover Zavala from afar with a sniper rifle, vigilant for any unusual transmat signatures or the faint shimmer of cloaking tech. At night, when visibility was restricted, the pair would creep into the tower and act as the commander's invisible bodyguards. Crow burrowed further into his new hunter cloak. It really was a beautiful garment, he thought. He admired the fine fabric, chosen by Glint and gifted to him by Osiris. Recalling their generosity made him feel suddenly guilty about his stinginess. Crow sighed. Fine. After this mission, once we know Zavala is safe, we can get you a disguise. Glint scooted in front of Crow's face, his mechanical iris suddenly magnified through the binoculars. Can we really? I suppose, Crow murmured as he tilted his head to see past the bobbling ghost, but not because you need it. Because we're friends? Glint said matter-of-factly. Sure. Rare friends. Maybe even cheap legendary friends. Crow smiled at his ghost. But not exotic friends. You'll have to find a new guardian for that. You're the best, Glint hummed encouragingly, no matter what Lord Saladin says. Crow snorted at the mention of the Iron Lord. We're all on the same side. Sooner or later, Saladin will realize it and start treating me like a real guardian. Don't worry, Glint chirped. With the legendary pork bun by your side, how could he refuse? This is another example of how you have to read the lore to fully understand what's going on. But it's not... This is complementary. You don't have to read this to like, oh my god, like I have to read this to know Zavala's in danger. Like, no, everybody knows Zavala's in danger by the time you get this lore piece.
Yeah.
But except for Zavala himself, really.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where this is kind of, it's almost natural. This is where Zavala's story was leading. We know that Savathun is watching him.
Yeah.
Trying to influence him. We know that Crow is now watching him. We know the Cabal are planning to assassinate him. And it's just like, at what point is he going to say enough is enough?
Yeah.
You know, like Saladin laments this week, telling Osiris, this is where you have led us. This is where, you know, we've been led here and this and that because, you know, you wanted to negotiate instead of wiping them all out and this and that. And Saladin's quite literally arguing for genocide. It's almost horrifying to see. Like, you understand where he's coming from. Like, he's made the mistake of trusting something once, that something being Rasputin. But Saladin's in for a really rude awakening when he finds out that Uldren Sov is protecting Zavala. Osiris is in on it. The Guardian is in on it. Rasputin is in the tower, also arguing.
Yeah.
We have the darkness, which he's not thrilled about. I maintain at some point we're going to have to fight somebody in the helm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be like Scion assassins or what, but we're going to have to fight somebody at some point in there.
Yeah, that seems like I mean, if you even like walk around the helm and go downstairs and stuff, it's designed kind of like a boss room, like a tiny boss room.
And like you have your abilities are charging in there too, which they don't do in the tower. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do, but I love this how they're progressing the seasonal storyline so much. It's like they finally listened, because we didn't get this in Season of the Undying. We didn't get it in Worthy. We got it in Arrivals, kind of, but that was done in like every couple of weeks. We got a big jump or something.
Yeah.
And eventually got Nocris, and that was because the season was so extended out, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't get this really in Season of the Hunt. We had a couple of jumps with the Hawkmoon quests. This, though, it feels like we have so many interconnected storylines going on. You know, we have the Keitel storyline. We have the Glykon storyline, which we're getting new dialogue in every week when you go and do it. There's new scannables, there's new captain's logs, etc. There's new dialogue between Keitel and Osiris, which we're going to get to the Glykon in just a few minutes. There's some interesting stuff that developed there this week, too. But now we're throwing Zavala into the fray. We're throwing a Zavala wrench in here. We're throwing Saladin wrenches in. all of these storylines are going to come to a head, and I'm very curious to see which ones of these they actually wrap up this season, which I would guarantee you Keitel is not getting wrapped up this season.
Yeah. No, she seems like a 2 or 3 season arc, especially now with the delay. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this story arc is going to be like a 2-parter.
For me, I feel like this is kind of like how we had Eris Morn in The Dark Below. She was super involved in that season, took a major backseat during House of Wolves, and then was at the forefront of The Taken King. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that's going to happen here with Keitel. I think Keitel, for the sake of the events in the campaign of the Witch, is going to set aside her differences with us, even though we're destroying her forces mercilessly right now. Like, she's going to realize, okay, in order to avoid extinction, we have to ally with the humans, which she's kind of already realized if you read a bit of the lore. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why she wanted the Guardians on her side, but she wanted them to bow to her because she still sees herself as Empress, and she's not. A lot of this season on her side is her coming to terms with the fact that she's not. And I could see her entering, like, a very tentative partnership with us because she wants revenge for Xivu Arath destroying Torabal. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, what if she teams up with us, and then that's where we bring Mithrax into the storyline as well. We finally, aside from like the little glimpse of him we get in 0 Hour and in that mission on Titan, if we actually get Mithrax in the flesh hanging out in the tower with us. I do think that's what they'll use Crow for eventually, is as a liaison to him. Yeah. Once they figure out who he is. I could see him being an envoy to the Fallen.
Yeah.
And bring them under. Because, I mean, that was one of the speculations, like, before Forsaken was, Uldren was basically trying to set himself up as the head of the Fallen.
Yeah.
You know, like, how Mara had been for her faction, Uldren, being cast out of the Reef, was trying to do that for all Fallen. Unite them under his banner to make war against the Guardians and against the city.
Yeah.
So and Mara is still out there. We don't know exactly what she's doing. We know that she's doing something, and she's watching the events from the Queen's throne. She departed that, and we haven't seen her quite since. She's got to be getting ready to come back into the story, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's been gone for, really been gone since, I mean, like, she's in Forsaken a little bit, but that's more of like a hallucination or you know what I mean? Like that
I mean, she's in the Queen's Court. When we go to the Queen's Court, when we're talking to her, that is her. Mm-hmm. So she's in it there, but that's very brief. Like, she's very strongly in the lore.
Yeah.
We have entire lore books dedicated to what happened to Mara between Taken King and Forsaken. But the time is right for her to come back into it, you know, especially with Eris being at the forefront of so much right now. And we know how closely her and Eris's fates are intertwined.
Yeah.
Eris literally calls her my queen. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Eris's story is getting ready to wrap up in the Witch Queen as well. Like, that's been a long-running popular theory that when Savathûn shows up, Eris's story is done.
Yeah.
Which would be a natural ending, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, expanding this story every week. So, assuming that we've got this correct, we've got 3 more weeks of it, which would lead us to. I'm pulling up my calendar real fast because the 23rd is when we get the Proving Ground strike,
right?
And that would be that would be week 7. That would be the final lore piece that we get dropped. I got to imagine that the Zavala Crow reveal happens in the next week or 2.
Yeah, it's got to happen before then, right?
It does. It logically has to, unless, like, we do a story mission of this, and when we fight through the tank, that's when we see that cutscene.
Like if you're fighting, it could almost be like a thing where, like, you're fighting alongside Crow or Zavala or both of them, maybe, and like if there's like a mini cutscene where Crow gets hit with like a stray bullet and cracks his mask or something, right?
I would love that. Or, you know, like we've said, you know, surprise, there's a fight in the helm, or something, and we're trying, you know, the mission is protect Zavala, and it's you and Crow, and in a cutscene, Crow, like you said, Crow gets hit by a stray bullet or something, throwing himself in front of Zavala. and it's revealed that that's who he is, and you and Zavala and Osiris get Uldren out of the city.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many possibilities where you can go with this, and obviously we're going to get our questions answered here in a couple of weeks.
I mean, if the tower goes down, like, this could be like a interesting way to weave Venus into it. Like, maybe there's some kind of hidden base on Venus, and that's how they get the vault back. You know what I mean? Like, there's...
Yeah.
There's
a lot of things. I gotta think that there's going to be a teaser for Vault at the end of the season.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it, because, you know, the helm is first person. We've been talking about there's going to be some sort of fight in there at some point. It feels like it. It looks like it. The tower, we've been talking about, like, it's time for the tower to go, and if it doesn't go, we're just going to live in the tower forever type thing, right? And I think a way you could do it is, like, if the helm really is some sort of weird helicarrier thing that you're going to start moving around, like, this is a way they could implement Venus in a story way where the helm kind of lifts out of the tower as the tower is being destroyed by the Cabal, and you go to Venus, and there's something you could go hide on Venus, and the helm can be there, right? And this is how they implement Venus into the story and going back into the Vault of Glass. Maybe they want to go into the vault to change time to make the tower not blow up or whatever.
Right. I don't know. Like, we've talked about this for a long time about how we need to leave the tower behind, and whether it's going back to the real tower or now boarding the helm or something. Regardless, I don't think the city gets destroyed. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this in our predictions last week. Like, I want us to leave Earth behind, but I think it would be us with, like, a new Vanguard or something. Like, we'll still do missions in this galaxy, but we're going to go beyond. Like, maybe Zavala entrusts the protection of Earth to the Crow. Mm-hmm. You know, since he can actually hear from the Traveler, maybe he leaves it to Crow, and Zavala journeys with us, or Zavala stays here and Ikora goes with us. Mm-hmm. You know, Drifter feels like a guarantee to go with us. Yeah. You know, maybe Elsie in this timeline. Elsie and Anna decide to go with the Bray sisters. Mm-hmm. There's so many possibilities of what you can do here. But another thing that I like, though, while we're talking about week to week, to kind of weave away from the story, I love the seasonal challenges that they're doing. We're enough weeks in now where I feel pretty comfortable giving an opinion on these. The seasonal challenges absolutely need to stay.
Yeah.
I have never felt less pressured to do bounties in my life.
Yeah, they're great.
It's fantastic. The amount of XP you get from each of these, even when you don't have your XP booster on, you are still going up almost an entire level, if not a level and a half, for every regular challenge. Mm-hmm. And like this week, they had 4 challenges that were all double XP.
Yeah.
Dude, I went up like 8 levels in one night because of that.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's crazy. My season pass is 2 levels away from being done. And we're not even halfway through week 4 yet.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's the quickest I've ever done a season pass. Normally I'm finishing them around like the end of week 5, beginning of week 6. Because like I've hit the narrative so hard and like, okay, now I can dip for a while. They have me coming back every single week for something right now. If this schedule holds, they will at least get me to log in once per week for the rest of the season. Bare minimum.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
I thought that I was going to have a whole month here to just chill and do nothing. And instead, it's like I'm still logging in at reset now. Granted, I'm playing a ton on reset day and not really playing after that. But that's because I want to get the story. I want to get the Glycon story. I want to get the War Table storyline going. You know, like they're including specific triumphs on the seasonal seals now. Like you must do all story missions associated with this. So you need to play for like 7 weeks or pick up 7 quests in a row or something.
Yeah.
If you really want to leave it to the end, you can, but you're going to hate yourself by the end of that. Mm-hmm. It's really, really, really well thought out. I think the rewards you get, not just in terms of XP, like there's less pressure than ever to go get bounties, which I still pick them up if I'm going to go do Crucible or I'm going to go do Strikes or Gambit. I still pick them up, and I try to only do repeatables as much as I can, so I'm maximizing that Bright Dust inflow. Mm-hmm. But even then, like, I found myself doing Strikes the other night, and I was like, oh, I don't have any bounties. Oh, well. like, I don't feel pressured because I realized something I was working on was do 5 playlist strikes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get more XP from finishing that than I would have from 5 bounties.
Yeah.
So, and I got Bright Dust out of it too.
Yeah.
So, this is a really creative way to do it. I want there to be a little bit more variation in the rewards, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like how one of them, and it's usually for completing the story mission of the week, where you get, for example, the first week you got a rocket launcher.
Yeah, the rocket launcher's cool.
Yeah, if you got a good roll, unlike me, this week was the sniper. Sniper is also awesome. Far Future is a great sniper. I love that gun. But I want to see rewards like that. Like, we know we have to do 75 challenges to get that giant Bright Dust pile, which is what we're all chasing, right? There's 40 in the game right now. We've got 10 weeks of challenges. If they hold to it, and there's 10 per week, then cool, you can skip like 20 of them. I don't think they're going to let us skip that many.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to be deliberately set up to where if you don't want to do Grandmasters and Trials, you're not going to be forced to. Yeah. This week, one of them is go play comp.
Who really wants to do that at this point?
I mean, honestly, like, just do the solo playlist.
Yeah.
It's easy. It goes quicker than Trials. You get double XP and you get Bright Dust out of it. That's enough to get me to go play comp, honestly. Just put on Jotun and go have a good time.
Josh does.
Get yourself some hate mail.
That's going to be our next shirt. Put on Jotun and have a good time.
I like a comment that Dylan, one of the community managers, made in response to people, saying, hey, please keep it up with the seasonal challenges. We really like this. And he says, we're interested to see how this evolves over the season when more comes out, and we're excited to see how many people hop on for the final weeks to cram in as many challenges as possible if they took the season off. I'm very excited for this. Like, I didn't do Gambit last week or the week before, but I played it this week, and I got 3 weeks of challenges for Gambit done.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Like, I like how I can stack all that, because Gambit's the thing. I don't want to go play that every week, honestly. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I want to play as little as possible. I only want to play it when I have a 4 stack on, because at least then if I'm losing, I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like the Crucible modes. That's a cool one. Like, it's forcing me to go play those. Those playlists actually have people playing them then. The rotationals do.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it more fun. In the case of Mayhem, it makes it way more frustrating, but it makes the rest of them fun.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on seasonal narrative, on seasonal challenges?
I think the seasonal challenges are great. I find myself, like, if I just log in, I'm like, I'll go finish one of these challenges just to wrap it up. I have done that before when I only have like a half hour or 45 minutes to play and nobody's on. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a cool way to keep solo players engaged that don't have a lot of time to accomplish something. You're still able to get your rewards. You're able to get your season pass ranks, etc. Like, there's no excuse if you play this game regularly now to not finish your season pass. Yeah.
So, and this is going to be the last normal length season, I believe, between now and Witch Queen.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have to extend the summer season, and then fall. I mean, we're going to have another season of Arrivals on our hand.
Yeah.
Before they permanently move it to early in the calendar year, when they make that the permanent new release.
Yeah.
Before we get into the actual lore corner this week, Corey, you and I both did the raid this past weekend. We both did Deepstone Crypt.
We did.
What was your favorite piece of loot that you got out of the raid?
Well, I got the hand cannon.
How do you like it?
It's fine. There's like 1,000 hand cannons, right? It's pretty middle of the road, I would say. It looks cool. Like, it looks really cool.
I love the weapon design. It's incredible in this raid.
Yeah. I masterworked my trustee, so that was fun. You're welcome. Look, Josh, I have 3 of them.
16 clears, and I still don't have it.
Look, Josh, if I could just give you one of my trustees, I would. Okay? Just so you could have it. But I masterworked it, so that's cool. And I completed the Titan set. So
I am missing 3 things from that raid, and that is trustee, it's the LMG, and Eyes of Tomorrow.
So basically, like, all the best weapons.
The 3 best weapons. Well, I mean, Heritage is pretty good. The Sniper is awesome. Succession is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you get, what is it, Vorpal and recombination on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
At least Vorpal. Like, Vorpal snipers are just OP right now.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like the weapons of this. I did finally finish my armor set. I did 2 runs of Deep Stone on Saturday or Sunday night. I don't remember which night we did. I guess it was Saturday. And let me tell you guys, I did it on my Hunter the first time, and I got the chest piece to drop. I did not get Trusty, but I got the chest piece. I was screaming. I was so excited. The guy that was playing with us, the rando who was in our group, was like, wow, I've never seen somebody so excited over getting a piece of armor in a raid. I was like, dude, you don't get it. I have done this raid 16 times, and I have never gotten this. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, well, I've only done it like 4 times, and I had the whole set. I have all the weapons, too. Like,
I hate people like that, man.
Shit.
Just shut up, dude. Who cares?
Shut the fuck up. Like, listen, I'm just glad that I have the whole set, and then I ran it on my Warlock for our second run that night, which was an exercise in frustration for me.
Yeah, it was kind of frustration for me in multiple facets, but look, I wanted to run the raid. I held my tongue. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it was an experience, I'll put it that way. I don't like running endgame activities on a class I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
And I forgot that you have to dump everything into, I think it's resilience as a warlock to keep getting your resilience or your recovery or something to get your, what do you call it, back, your rift.
Rift. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting damn near one-shotted by Shanks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, oh, my light level is actually, like, not that high. It's, like, right at the rate. It's, like, 1250 or something.
Yeah.
Which also added to my frustration. I don't know. I would have been less frustrated if I had been rewarded with Eyes of Tomorrow at the end of all that. Or with Trusty. Or with LMG.
Yeah. I have to say, though, running it that second time, or for the second time, because I felt a little underwhelmed the first time. And I think part of it was just because we were flying through it and we were just kind of, I don't know. I enjoyed it way more this time, despite some of the frustrations we were having. Especially like the final encounter. I was like, man, what's happening here? Like, the first time I ran it like with you guys, it felt like one of the easier encounters in the raid, and then we got there and I was like, man, I get that like stuff's happening, but man, I don't know. I was kind of ready. We were done. I was like, I'm ready to get out of here.
I was done, and it's not like one of those like, oh my god, I'm throwing a fit because I didn't get it done in an hour.
Yeah,
it was one of those just like, I'm tired. I'm doing rolls, like, not that I'm like not used to doing. I'm like, I basically know how to do every roll at this point, but it's part of teaching a raid. It's just, I'm tired. I've already done a run tonight. I played a lot this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exhausted. I do really want to do that specific raid with 12 people, though.
Yeah.
Just because I want to see how bonkers the boss damage is on Tanix at the end.
Yeah.
Very, very curious to see how that one goes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't mind it. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I felt kind of bad during the second encounter because I was like, oh, I have this glow. I didn't know I was supposed to go up to space when I had this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have it the last time.
No, I don't know what we did different that first time. Oh, it was before the swords were nuked, first off.
Yeah.
Swords getting nerfed as much as they did, and also our operator not wanting to dump multiples at once did not help the situation.
Yeah.
That adds to the frustration too, I think, because then they're having to run around and do that. They're not helping you wipe ads. The people who come up aren't helping wipe ads, so it's down to like one person basically.
Yeah.
And that one person was me,
mm-hmm.
who is playing a warlock with like no resilience and no rift. It was not going well.
Yeah.
But like the damage that they've taken off of Lament easily was an entire phase.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why we had to go into a second phase. It's just, I don't know. it was a myriad of things that kind of led to that. And like, so many times, like I'd be up top and it would just be like Matt and I running in. Like our third guy wouldn't be there, or he'd get real close with Xenophage and get like 2 shots in, or start shooting before we could slash. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. If you're gonna do this, wait till we start slashing and then shoot him from afar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, this is not airing my grievances about LFG.
I can, dude. I don't know, LFG. Some of the people you pull out of there are interesting.
That's one way to say it.
Yeah.
But so, Corey, what do you say we move on over to the lore corner?
Yeah, let's get this lore corner in, Josh. Let's get it in.
So, again, gonna be a little bit of a different lore corner this week. We're kind of holding off on reading the captain's log for another few weeks until we've got like 5 or 6 entries in, and we can just do 2 a week at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go in this week, like last week, Keitel is talking to you. Keitel and Osiris are kind of bantering back and forth. Her people have been patrolling the Glykon, have been, flying around the outside of it, this and that, and she's questioning why we're still going in. She wants to know what happened to Callus. And Osiris mentions, well, if we can get the ghost, if we can retrieve the Guardian's ghost, maybe we can find out what happened here. This is the first week, and the way this is structured is there's scannables every week, and they're not on a rotation. So if you haven't gotten the first 4 scannables, you're not going to be able to get the next 6.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 14 total, I think. It goes for like 4, 6, 4. And then you'll be perpetually stuck on week 2, not in terms of dialogue, but in terms of scannables until you get all 6 of those. And then you'll be able to unlock the last set. So because Nerd and I were running it with my friend Matt, who has all the scannables, we were getting all of the dialogue. We were figuring out what happened, the whole complete story, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, you can definitely hear Callus talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already established that the locus of communion, the boss of this encounter, is speaking to you through people who are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a subtle way to reveal Callus is dead. How, we don't know.
Yeah.
It is implied that the Leviathan was sucked into one of those wormholes.
Yeah.
And we kind of figured out more of the story. Callus, it's implied, has sent a ship to go pick up some scorn and put the crown of sorrow on the scorn in an effort to commune with the darkness. And, well, the darkness didn't commune with him, but it took over a ghost, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the implication that we're getting, because for the first time, we're getting another voice talking to us in here. And it sounds almost like Uldren, almost like Crow, but it's not. It just says Unknown Guardian. And we find out really quickly it's Catabai. It's the Guardian who was Callus's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear him like begging not to die and this and that, and then you just hear a bunch of gunshots and it goes quiet. The audio log just goes quiet after that. And it's about the time that you encounter his that's when you encounter his ghost shell when you scan it.
Mm-hmm.
So something happened. The Scorn found him, etc. The way they are unraveling this story, there's certain things you can scan in here. We found a hologram of Callus hidden this week. We found the chalice. The chalice of opulence is there in the the bridge of the ship when you drop down to get the rifle for the first time. It's in there, and I don't know, just all of the lore around this is so fascinating. It's a truly unique experience that you've got to figure that these spores are going to come back in some way in a raid or a dungeon down the line.
Yeah, this feels like whatever the next raid it's probably going to be some sort of dungeon though, right? Because Vault of Glass and then the Witch Queen raids are the next 2, right? Like that, they've kind of already confirmed that. So unless this is some sort of... I think
there's going to be a dungeon probably for the fall season, because at that point we've gone a little over a year without a new dungeon.
Yeah.
And Bungie seems to go between 9 to 12 months with dungeon releases.
Mm-hmm.
Like weapon quests are different. We had Whisper, and then we got 0 Hour 8-9 months later. You got Bad Juju a couple months after that, and then they just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Well, now we've gotten Hawkmoon and we've gotten Gligon back-to-back seasons. I gotta think that their resources are going into bringing Vault back for next season, but that there is a dungeon somewhere ready to go. But I don't know. Like this feels like the setting for a dungeon, though.
Yeah, it does.
The Glycon, because we've only seen part of the ship. We haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah, especially because you have to like jump around it to get inside, and you only see like a small section of it. Like it definitely feels like this feels like when you would go on the Leviathan and they put like the raid layers and the multiple raids there and the secret puzzle underneath. Like there's all kinds of things you could do with this. It's so big.
Yeah,
like a whole ship is so big.
Here.
So
yeah, so Callus has just kind of like disappeared.
Yeah.
He's deuced out. He is missing somewhere. We don't exactly know how he's disappeared. Maybe this will be revealed in the captain's log going forward. I kind of doubt it though. Like Callus was very, very old. We kind of know that he's been using the robots to communicate because that's not what he actually looks like. Yeah, he's very frail. He's very, I don't know, like almost deceased in a lot of ways. It's, I don't know, like I like that they're bringing back the Crown of Sorrow, which always felt like it was just kind of like thrown into the game.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the raids are kind of like disconnected from the main narrative. Like Crota's End, King's Fall, and Last Wish are kind of like the major exceptions. Everything else is very disconnected. Like, I mean, hell, 4 of the raids all tie together because they're the only times that we encounter Callus and the Leviathan.
Yeah.
And so he's very largely been kept to the end game until now. Like, I mean, there's going to be some people going through this like, who the fuck is Callus?
Yeah.
Like, they're going through this seasonal narrative going like, well, why do we care about this guy? It's like, hey, some of us who have been raiding for 4 years are asking the same thing. Why should we care?
Yeah.
If you didn't play Season of Opulence, that's really the only time that you encountered anything of his or you heard his voice if you didn't do raids.
Yeah.
So I think they're setting up some interesting mysteries that aren't necessarily going to be answered right away. I don't expect us to get the answer for what really happened to Callus until probably we get closer to Witch Queen.
Yeah.
And until we learn the truth about like the anomalies, like the way that they phrase things, and I'd be viewing this differently had we not gotten the announcement about the delay last week and about how they're saying they want heroes, villains, characters, and stories to span multiple seasons and annual releases going forward. I gotta think that Callus's story, like, it's over in one sense, but it's not in another.
It's almost like the second part of it. Like the first arc is over, but we're entering a second arc.
Exactly. Like, he's the only one who has not met a definitive end as far as I'm concerned that we have talked to us. Like, Segura is a voice that talks to us. She's 100% dead. Cade 6, dead. Uldren Sov, dead. And it's Uldren that talks to you, not Crow. Gaul, totally dead. Callus is kind of the one that we're like, is he really, though?
Yeah.
Because if you ever want to unvault that content, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
And of course, I think like Vault of Glass is probably going to be a good test run for us to see how they're going to do things when they unvault it. Like, okay, Cosmodrome, sure, it's like 1-1 parity, but it's not the Destiny 1 Cosmodrome. It's very clearly a Destiny 2 Cosmodrome.
Right.
Because we didn't have fuckboy senior Shahan in Destiny 1.
He's the worst.
God, just like I feel like we could have an entire section about reasons why we hate Shaw.
Can we just do like a spin-off episode on like the top 5 worst Guardians in Destiny? And just why is every single one of them Shahan?
Shahan, Tess,
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne's not a Guardian. We can't include her on the list.
Well, Zavala calls her one at the end of the Red War campaign.
God, don't remind me. It's terrible.
You don't need a ghost to be a Guardian.
It's so dumb. I hate it so much.
Anyone could be a Guardian. No.
So yeah, we don't really really have any other lore that we're going to read out of here quite yet. We'll eventually get into the story of Catabai and of what truly happened on the Glycon as we unlock the pages of the Captain's Log each week. Like I said before, these are on Ishtar Collective, but I really don't want to dig into them if they're not accessible to everybody yet in game. Because it's not data mining, but because it is there, it's in the API, like it can be earned, but just kind of like, I want to jump 9 weeks ahead. Right. I want to dissect this. This is a story with so many layers, and the dialogue each week is kind of redefining how we're thinking about the lore. Because I've already read the whole book. Yeah. But having these encounters each week and the new dialogue each week, it's giving me a reason to go run it all the way through. Not just, I'm going to go listen to the beginning. It's no, I got to run the entire mission because they're talking the whole time. And kind of absorbing what they're saying. I was looking for a transcript of what was said this week. There's some YouTube videos. I'm gonna have to go out and transcribe some of this stuff for some future episodes, because the conversations between Keitel and Osiris, if you're not listening to them, we've been asking for so long, hey, put the story in game. This is an amazing example of that. If you want to get the story. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, I don't want to go play this 9 weeks in a row to get the full story. And that is totally fair. That is completely fair. And it's not like this mission is hard. The regular version of it is not hard at all. Yeah. But it is a bit annoying to be like, you got to take a half an hour or more, depending on your skill level, to go through and do this every single week. I'm going to get to like week 5 or 6 and be like, I don't know if I want to finish this. I'm finishing this because I want that title. I want the title chosen. Yeah. We will definitely we'll talk about Catabai. We'll talk about his ghost, Gilgamesh. We'll talk about Callus a bit more. We're going to dive into the history of Callus and of Torabal in the coming weeks. Sweet. Since this is such a Cabal-heavy season. And we've gotten so much more info now about the Cabal homeworld. And like I said, Kai specifically recalls watching Xivu Arath as in the form of a gigantic hive knight destroying her planet. Think of 100-foot tall Cabal or a hive knight, and that's basically what she saw. Yeah. How terrifying that would be. Basically, Oryx as a hive knight. Yeah, that's not inspiring. No, sounds terrifying. But Corey, before we get out of here, I was reminded this week. I saw something yesterday. I think Dads of Destiny tweeted it out, and it was a video of fighting Oryx on the Dreadnought in the raid, and I retweeted it and said, this is probably the most memorable thing I've ever done in a game with friends is fighting Oryx like week 1, and just like. It led me down a rabbit hole of watching people's reactions to seeing him for the first time in that raid. And there was a lot of high-pitched screaming. So I want to pose this question to you. What is the most memorable thing that you've seen in a Destiny game?
The most memorable thing I've seen?
The most memorable encounter, or like something that's going to stick with you even when you're done playing these games.
I mean, it's got to be the Oryx fight. It has to be. It has to be. I mean, Vault, doing Vault for the first time was cool because, this is the first raid, and we're going in, we're going to do this, and try to figure it out, whatever. But once you learn the raid mechanic, what a raid mechanic actually consists of, and Crota wasn't that exciting. That's just gonna the most memorable thing about Crota is just gonna be the memes of how not great that raid was, and if you didn't have Gallahorn, you can't play with us type thing. But yeah, I think because we tried to do it week 1, we didn't get to Oryx. We got to Gogoroth and just had a hell of a time with Gogoroth, but we did get to Oryx the second weekend that we tried. There's a second week that we tried. And after the sisters, you're just in this giant room, right? After you kill the sisters, you're just in this big empty room, and you run up You're like, we were trying to figure out where to go because we thought we had to go to like a throne room or something because we tried to go through not spoiled or anything. And when you just see Oryx kind of like climb up the side or right in front of you and just kind of climb up, and he's huge. Like, he's huge, man. Oryx is still the biggest boss I think we've ever fought, right?
Yeah,
and
we fight a literal god.
Yeah, and just like him on the side of the the side of the dreadnought.
The only person I would say is bigger than him is just canonically Riven is. Riven's a space dragon.
Yeah. But I haven't run that raid. So
well, spoilers.
Yeah. No. I mean I know, but I haven't been able to run it. But yeah. It's got to be Oryx though, right? I mean, just in taking him out for the first time and watching his body float away and having the waving emote, all 5 of us or 6 of us had the waving emote. We're just waving at him, and I still have that screenshot somewhere of us just waving at him for the first time.
We were all doing the Carlton in front of him.
Oh, jeez.
And singing the song as we all died. Not unusual. It's great though. Like I feel like if you don't have an experience like this, it's because like you simply haven't done an end-game activity. Mm-hmm. Like everybody's got one, whether it's a strike boss, it's a dungeon, it's a raid. But I feel like Oryx and Riven specifically just hit so differently. Mm-hmm. When you see them for the first time, it's like, oh my god!
It's the scale of these.
What the fuck did I get myself into here? This isn't Galron. This isn't something with a demented belly button. This isn't the giant mech in what was it?
Scourge of the Past.
Scourge of the Past. It's not the Callus robot. It's like, what have I gotten myself into? This is terrifying.
Yeah, it's
something entirely different. Like, don't get me wrong, Atheon and Crota running around is terrifying, especially when Crota's standing like right outside the hidey hole. Mm-hmm. But he goes down so easily. Part of the Gallarhorn, but he goes down so easily. You hit him with the sword a few times and then rinse and repeat. Crota or Oryx was just something entirely different, and I mean they kind of continue that in Wrath of the Machine too, right? With the siege engine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like,
but
Atrax overall is underwhelming, but it's the experience of getting there that you're like, oh my god, this is awesome.
That Atrax fight, though, everybody has to be on point for that fight, though. Like, I mean, you have to be able to throw the balls at the
Axis, not Atrax. Atrax is
Axis. Yeah. Like, you have to throw the balls at the thing, right? Like, I mean, right? I'm trying to remember that fight now, but it was I just remember it was like we'd split off into teams and everybody had to be on point and we had to go. I forget how. I know a knight came out and you had to like fight the knight to get like an orb or something, and you had to throw the orb at the little things and yeah, it was everybody had to be on point. Our team had like the biggest trouble with that. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be Oryx and just how massive he was, and running around the pillars and trying not to get hit by the the falling debris or rocks or whatever he was throwing at you, the space bombs. So that's
it's got to be. I mean, the first time that you're chosen to go to the Ascendant Plane is just something wholly unique. Mm-hmm. That you're like, what the hell is actually going on here? This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I recounted that. I was like, I can't tell you how many times we failed there when I was the runner. I'd get the relic, get down there, only for us to like all wipe, or for me and like one other person to be like screaming in unison as we're trying to take down Oryx with fucking primary ammo because we have nothing else to use at this point.
Yeah.
And just the amount of screaming coming from the two of us, like last or Guardian down, and it's blinking on your screen, last Guardian standing, and you're desperately trying to get people up and shoot, and it is the most frantic thing. Like, there's nowhere really for you to run in that encounter that is safe.
Yeah.
At all. You can't hide. When you're doing damage, it's prey.
Yeah.
dip into the bubble for a second, then get your ass right back out there.
Yeah. And then like even the quest afterwards to get Touch of Malice, like running around the Dreadnought, finding those stupid fragments was just like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There's a lot of great moments in Destiny. Nothing is going to top King's Fall in general, but just that whole raid, man. The whole raid, the jumping puzzle where you have to jump on the ships.
Dude, Wall of Dicks.
Yeah,
Wall of Dicks, man.
The Orcs' wall of dildos that shoot you out is not fun. Getting up to the secret chest, by the way.
Yep.
That was always a good time. The sisters and really trying to one rounding the sisters was always something that, like, if we didn't do it, we were like, we're gonna wipe, because the rest of this encounter just gets harder. You have to do it.
Yep. It's still, like, to this day, like, not for us to go off too much of a tangent, it's probably the most memorable. Like, that's why I said, like, it's the most memorable experience I've not only had in Destiny, it's one of the most memorable I've ever had in a video game.
I also think it has a lot to do with, like, a lot of people jumped in on the Taken King, right? And a lot more people really started talking about Destiny. A lot more people were wanting to play
that was
Destiny.
The redemption arc.
Yeah, that too is like they changed the light leveling system. They changed a lot of things. They made it better. It just, I remember like I don't even think I really even enjoyed Destiny all that much until the Taken King. Like, Skolas was just bad. It was, man, if you didn't get those boots from Crota, man, you were kind of fucked. I don't miss that old leveling system at all, by the way.
No, it was bad. I kind of agree with you there. I mean, I remember doing Vault of Glass and going, because I had played this game for a month straight. Mm-hmm. And I did Vault of Glass, I guess it was the second, maybe third week it was out. Mm-hmm. I jumped in and did it. So happy I did it. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, like, this took like 5 hours to do. This is too much for an activity. Oh, little did I know how much I would spend on raids week one in the future. Mm-hmm. My first attempt at certain things. Looking at you, day one Deepstone Crypt and first completion of Garden of Salvation. Looking at those marathon days.
Gosh, I remember, dude, when we tried Taken King for the first time and we were trying to figure out the War Chief.
Yep.
Dude, it took us forever to figure that out for some reason. And then Gogoroth, dude, trying to figure out Gogoroth blind was like...
It's terrible.
It's terrible. Going into raids blind is fun for like 2 or 3 hours, but once you're hitting hour 9, 10, 12...
And you're not even halfway.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my gosh, why are we still doing this?
The guys I did it with had already cleared it once that week.
Mm-hmm.
I got like day 2, they had cleared it. We did it that weekend. And they went through it on alternate characters,
mm-hmm.
and taught myself and Matt the ropes, and just still one of the all-time great experiences. Like, that was where this game went from being a casual hobby for me to being like, okay, you got to be like the best of the best to do this shit. And I did King's Fall a couple times before I dipped out of the game. It really, like, I didn't really come back hardcore until Forsaken after that. Mm-hmm. Like, I played Rise of Iron, I played Vanilla D2, but I only played those for a couple weeks each.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this a lot on this show. It was really like, I came back during Forsaken, played a lot during Forsaken,
mm-hmm.
played a bit of Black Armory, dipped for Joker's Wild, but really since Opulence, I've been here. This
mm-hmm.
has been my, like, since I've taken breaks, such as like during the super long season of Arrivals.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between breaks and taking
a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I played through, like, we were still raiding pretty regularly at the beginning of D2, so I played Vanilla D2 all the way up through Osiris
mm-hmm.
Pretty regularly, and then a lot of my raid group, like, a couple of them had kids, a couple of them kind of just didn't want to play Destiny anymore, a couple, you know what I mean? It just kind of fell apart. And then probably... It was after Forsaken came out. Like, I played through the Forsaken campaign. I took a little bit of a break. It was probably the middle of that following summer where I was really, like, starting to get back into it.
Yeah.
Really, because I wanted to see what, the Dreaming City, and I wanted to see what happened after, Crow's, or Aldrin's death. And, there was that rumor that he was going to be resurrected as a Guardian at that point.
Yeah.
And so I kind of... couple of seasons I dipped, Season of the Worthy. I played a few of the story missions, but then I was just like,
I'm worthless.
I'm like out. And it was at that point where seasons didn't really mean what they mean now, obviously, too. So I just was like, you know what? I'll play the campaigns. People want to raid. I'll try to raid with them, but I'll probably start playing other things at this point. And then my kid was born at some point in there too. I think that's probably why I stopped playing for a while, was because, I had a kid.
And then you got kid number 2 on the way.
Yeah. So,
it's just one of those experiences. Like, everybody, if you did the King's Fall raid, you remember what you were doing at that exact point in, like, your life, I feel. Like, what you were doing at that point. Like, we all remember where we were when we heard they were going to kill Kate Six off. We all remember where we were when we first saw the space Doritos on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you're at the point where, like, the Glycon is, like, the next in that line. Like, you're going to remember who you did that first clear with. You're going to remember figuring out the spores for the... I'm not only trying to say, like, oh my god, the spores were so difficult. Like, they really aren't. Blind, it took well, I didn't do it blind. I did it with Nerd Generalist, and he largely let me figure out the puzzles on my own. It took a little over an hour.
Yeah, I think Mitch and I went in blind, and it took us about 2 hours to do blind.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a mini dungeon as far as I'm concerned. Like, I consider these to be more of dungeons, and things like the Shattered Throne and Pit of Heresy to be almost like raid layers in a lot of ways. But that's a topic for another time. I remember I saw that post this week, and I had to get your take on it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of...
You felt the same way that I did.
I saw a lot of Taken King stuff this past week, honestly. It's it brought back a lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories, because, like, yeah, we used to play with people who were, like, they would rage quit. I remember my friend broke a couple controllers because he would just get so mad. But, it was... Yeah, man. Also, I think the first time landing on the Leviathan, like, not necessarily the raid, but landing on it and realizing how different it looked from the rest of D2 at that point, it was like, man.
Running down that straightaway for the first time, you're just like, why can I not use my Sparrow? This is terrible.
Yeah. And then kind of realizing that it was, like, they were going to start alternating the encounters was like, man, that's... I don't know how... good that is.
It's definitely a different thing, and I think there's reasons why that has not come back. Because everybody unanimously hated it.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got for this week, though, Corey.
Yeah.
That was my last question to you, I think.
Yeah. Before we go, I just kind of want to update everybody for the future, like the short-term future of the show. Obviously, we said it at the top of the show, but Josh is going to take over host for a couple weeks, starting in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. I'm having a kid, so obviously, this kid's got to take priority over this podcast. Lame. So Josh, I'm sure you're gonna have Nerd on. I'm sure you have a bunch of guests lined up already to.
I'm starting to figure out who's going to be on with us. Yeah, we've got some fun topics to talk about.
Yeah, it's exciting. Very exciting.
Some fun ones, some not fun ones.
I'm excited to listen for a while, but I'm already missing it, and I'm not even done yet. So I'm not gonna lie to you. So just a heads up. That first week I'm gone, though, the show will be a little bit late to upload. Probably be uploaded Saturday morning. Just so you guys are aware, that's the week of April 1st. I think the 2nd is a Saturday, so. Just a little heads up, but yeah, Josh, let's let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Get on out of here.
I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to Tower Casuals. Remember to rate us on Apple Podcasts if you listen to us there. Like us on Spotify. Share us with your friends. Share us with your clan. Share us with your pals. We really appreciate it. 5-star rating. Leave us a nice review. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and follow wherever you consume the show. Josh, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch as @Josh_Finn with 2 N's. I don't know what we're going to play on Twitch next. I haven't streamed in about a week. I streamed the Outriders demo and was just so thoroughly unimpressed that I haven't had the desire to stream.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, no, Destiny content's it slowed up a little bit. We don't have quite as much new stuff. Like the first couple of weeks, we were just being hit with a barrage of new stuff.
Yeah,
it's how it usually is with a new season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll find something. I've been checking out Tony Hawk lately. We may play some Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
It's a great one. Tony Hawk's great.
There's an hour-long free trial that you can download and play. It's the full game.
Yeah, do it. Everybody download it. Tony Hawk's awesome. You can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter. You can find me at CoreyNHD on Twitch. You can find me at all these other things that I do, apparently. So check it out. Follow me. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's been a long week. Everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
I hate you so much.